Welcome to Brains, Brawn, and Bougie, a podcast hosted by three lifelong friends who are unapologetically authentic and never afraid to say what's on our minds.
From what's happening in our lives to what's happening in the world around us, we bring our honest opinions, real conversation, and plenty of laughs.
Join us as we unpack life, love, ambition, and everything in between, with real talk, real humor, and just the right amount of bougie.
Brains, brawn, and bougie, yeah, we bring the whole thing. Smart talk, strong moves, living life like a queen. Tune in, level up, every week we go deep. Brains, brawn, and bougie, this is where you find your peak.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eileen.
Hi, I'm Renee.
Hey there, I'm Patty, and welcome to the most recent episode of Brains, Brawn, and Bougie. Let's start up by seeing what everybody's been up to. Renee, what happened this week?
What happened this week? We have snow. The snow has arrived. It's very exciting. Yeah. Now, let me give you a little environmental update, because the snow is not just about me, although mostly it's me and skiing and all that stuff. It's about water in the spring and the summer, because this is wildfire area. And so if you want to go camping and have your little campsite fire, we need snow. But it's snowing, and my husband is actually out skiing, and he said, "Do you want to go?" And I said, "Well, no, did you see that wind chill? I am too fragile for that." So should I be skiing?
So
yes,
it's
I
cold.
should. It's cold. The wind gusts are like 40 miles an hour on the mountain.
I'm in the middle of Iowa, and it is 60 degrees, which I did not pack for. But the wind, we're having the same wind, Renee.
Yeah, I think it's really coming across.
So are we. Like,
it's a windy day.
It says it's 58 degrees. It is rainy and super windy, and I can see where it's going to snow on the little mountains outside of our house. Yeah.
Okay, well,
so what I'm hearing is we have better weather than all of you, but that's okay. But I'm glad it's snowing.
Well, let's fit. Iowa is the dream place to live.
It is.
For all
this is a little bit aside, but I was watching the Olympics today, and they did a thing on skiing. I think it was Cortina. Is that where they're in Milan and Cortina?
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I thought about you, Renee, the whole time, because these mountains, they just go up and up and up, and people, they have horse-drawn like wagons where people are grabbing ropes that take them up the hill. And then you can like go up the hill and ski down to lodges and eat, and then ski down, and you can ski from town to town. I was like, that is made for Renee.
You need to share the horse story of getting the skiers at the mountain. That was insane.
Okay, so
horse story.
Skijoring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's in a mountain town close to us, which you have to drive what's called the $1 Million Highway to get there. And it's $1 million because of the views. It's spectacular, but I'm like, a Garfield doll on the other side of the window, because there's no railings and it's just straight down, and it's beautiful but deadly. So it's on one of the main drags in this little mountain town. The main drag is dirt road. And for 2 days straight, it's called Skijoring. And I guess it will be in the Olympics in, 4 or 8 years. And
really?
Yes. Somebody told me
I thought you were joking.
No. Well, they could be, giving me a total lie. But so what it is, they're just awesome skiers, and they have made ski mounds on the main drag and gates. So they're the cowboys, the men and women riding these horses is so phenomenal just to watch them. They just balance right down the middle of the street, and they are pulling a skier on the back that has to do the gates and then come up, do a jump, come off the jump. And the skiers have to, so they don't rip out their shoulders, like they have to pull in the rope when they're like going up the hill, because the horse is like right there. But then by the time they get over, the horse is down the road. So then they got to let out. It is wild to see. It is so much fun. And of course, both sides of the road are lined with people just hooting and hollering. And It's so fun. People come from all over the country to do it. So,
Well, and it looked like that horse was going
oh my gosh.
Fast,
Yes.
like,
fast.
like
It looked
all
like it.
out.
Maybe that's our next girls trip, huh?
Oh my gosh. It's so fun.
Ski jorging.
I'm not driving those roads in the winter. I have driven them in the summer, but I'm like, oh my God. Like a semi just went off it not too long ago. It's the real deal of death-defying highway. But anyway, ski jorging, 2 thumbs up. It's very fun.
Eileen, what have you been up to?
Oh, what haven't I been up to? Right. So
Is that the response every week?
You
I
know,
think it is.
it's just my life is just so glam.
Magical.
Like I spend most of my
All of the above.
time at a doctor's office. So again, for those listening, if you don't know this, I had both my jaw joints replaced back in August. I still have nerve damage that's not healed. I can't move my jaw, never will be able to, back and forth. So chewing food sometimes is that should be an Olympic sport, Renee.
You see
Like,
how Renee
yeah.
and I are both testing?
Yeah, I can't. Like, this is me.
I can do it.
Yeah. That's it.
Wow.
I know. So I went and saw the surgeon yesterday because I'm very upset with the lack of progress. And as you girls know, every time I have surgery, I'm a PT freak. I will go to physical therapy. I will outdo it. I will do everything I'm supposed to so I can heal. Well, I didn't go to PT, but I've been doing the stuff that I was told to do. Well, I'm not making any progress. In fact, I'm going backwards in how much I can open my mouth. And so, although I do have to share, my sister can fit 4 fingers like this in her mouth. Popular girl.
I'm ecstatic for you to share that tidbit.
I told her I was going to.
Side note, before you go on, your mouth looks really good.
Oh, well, thanks.
Actually, it does. It really does.
It's still crooked. And
not as much as it was.
Yeah, and I still talk funny. So the doctor said, we don't know if that nerve's ever going to resolve itself. So I have to now go see 2 nerve specialists to see if they can go in there and do something. So there's a nerve that goes down here and then it branches out to 5 different, like a nerve highway. It's the 3rd nerve, the 3rd branch that is causing problems, and it may never heal. Okay, whatever. So I got to go see 2 nerve specialists. And then he said, what could be happening is the bone, as you're healing, could be growing over the appliance that we put in there. So what they did during the surgery is they liposuctioned fat out of my stomach, which doesn't exist anyway, but they did, and then they put the fat over the appliance. So the bone doesn't grow over there. I know.
That is super interesting.
So next August, I will go through images, like all the, pictures to see if that's what's happening. And if it is, they have to go back in and get rid of the bone, or I'm going to have issues eating. So that was great news. And then he signed me up for PT. So I went to PT today, met my new best friend, Andy.
Did you put your tennis shoes on thinking you were going to do steps and stuff?
No. You know what I did, though? I had a nice, cozy sweater and nice shoes and everything. I ended up having to work out when I was there. I'll tell you, very strange. And not just my mouth. But Andy became very intimate with my mouth. Like his fingers were in there.
Did he give you the 4th finger?
Oh,
One time?
Yeah, no, just pulling back and forth and then poking around. And so the man's amazing. Like he's the only one, I think, that's certified to do this in the Phoenix area, right? So he's an expert on this. So turns out I have bad posture. Why does that matter? You ask yourself, because everything's connected. So because I kind of slouch and everything, and I for all those years banging on a computer, right? So he starts poking around my neck and my traps and all this kind of stuff. He's like, you are a mess. And so we have to work on your posture and, the mouth piece of it. So I started having to do exercises to work between my shoulder blades to help my posture. So I worked up a little sweat You know, like I was doing a lot of, rows and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I have to go to PT 3 times a week for my
3
mom.
times?
Wow.
3 times a week.
With
So
Andy?
that with Andy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear more about Andy.
I know. It was like
you need to get the
so-
scoop on him.
I will get the scoop on him, but he was very nice. But me, again, being A-type, I want to make him happy, make him proud. So that's what's going on with my face.
Did you?
I was
Question.
Did you look
What?
at his hands? Like he's not a gardener on the side or anything. Does he have like?
Did he
know,
wear
dirt?
gloves?
He
Grounded
wore
there?
gloves.
Oh,
No,
okay.
he wore gloves.
Just
Yeah, he was
safety
very
first.
respectful. Wore the
Well,
gloves.
my thing, not so much a question, maybe a comment. I think we need to make you a punch card, and for every 10th surgery, you get one free.
That would be awesome.
I think
I
you
would
need
love
to
it.
work on that.
I do have to say though, and the surgeon said the same thing as Andy. You cannot see the scars
Yeah. no.
at all.
That's awesome.
Like he did
I
an
I can't see
amazing
him on the
job.
video.
You can't. So he's like, I want you to be my poster child for scars,
Oh, cool.
but not until your face gets figured out. So yeah, we'll see.
actually, your face is getting. It's every week we're seeing. a
Yeah,
difference. Yeah.
Again, I have to when I edit these episodes, folks, I have to listen to my awful voice.
Oh, please.
Oh,
Please.
Everybody hates their own voice.
Oh,
you know,
please. Oh,
it's
please.
just I don't know. I do not have a good radio voice like Will Arnett. He's amazing. I was going to give 2 suggestions for our listeners on things to watch.
Okay.
And these aren't new things. They've been around for a while. One of them is Schitt's Creek.
Love it.
If you haven't seen
Best ever.
it is
Catherine O'Hara.
David.
Oh,
David. Yeah.
David.
David.
Fold it in.
Yeah,
Fold it in.
fold the
What do you
cheese.
mean fold it in? Fold it in. I love that.
I think that is one of the most hysterical shows ever. Like when she did the Black Crow movie. It is
so
hysterical.
feel like every time we get together to drink wine,
Yeah.
that could be taped. Oh, this tastes terrible. Oh, this
Yep.
is awful. As we just keep. Oh,
It's a show that
it's
you
like
just
sewer water.
you got to throw yourself
Fruit
into
wine.
and binge it. It's so good. The
It's
other
the
one,
best.
which is a little bit more dark humor and quirky, is What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh,
Favorite.
Oh,
Love that
and
show.
it's based on vampires in the modern day living in Staten Island, and it is hysterical. It's
yeah,
like
very fun.
so. It is so quirky and so fun, and it's based off a movie that I think I
It's
want
also
to
called
say
What
it
We
was
Do
done
in
in
the Shadows.
Australia or somewhere else. Like it wasn't done in the US, but I think they're both on Hulu.
They're
but-
both amazing.
They are.
The neighbor and What We Do in the Shadows, who becomes his
Oh my
best
God.
friend.
No,
And they
I like
and,
my favorite is Gregor.
oh,
Gregor, and he always gets his head lopped off through all the
Yes.
lights. Yeah.
Oh,
It's,
I think the energy vampire is hysterical.
oh my
So
god!
the energy
Colin,
vampire
Colin.
is on the new show The Burbs on Peacock.
Okay.
And I watched it. It is very funny. It's Keke Palmer, who's an amazing actress. And Todd Mann, 1D, 2N, is played by the energy vampire.
Is he
who
an
also
energy?
had a role. He is very similar character, very funny.
Like
very
he is
funny.
he is hysterical.
We gotta
when
find
they
out his
What they
name.
explain what the energy vampire is he basically sucks the energy from other people so he can, survive. And the
then
funniest
he's
line
reborn.
was, and he's walking around his office and people are just like, falling asleep.
And it's so
Hysterical.
relatable where you're like going to a gathering, a party, and you're like strategically finding, like, you got to speak to this person, but strategically putting in your spot that you're not cornered by them, and that is where you will die for the next
You will
3
die,
hours.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well-
yeah. So those are my 2 tips. Every episode, I'm going to try to come with some more, but I just think if you have any sense of humor whatsoever, you got to watch those shows because you'll be quoting them for the rest of your life. They're awesome.
All right.
So I want to give that actor a shout out. His name's Mark Proksch, Proksch. That sounds like a very good Wisconsin kind of name, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. Really good.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's from. Funny.
Very
It's
funny.
amazing. I
But-
agree, Eileen. Good choices.
Yeah, that's what's going on in my life.
Watch
Patricia,
the Burbs too.
Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yes,
Oh,
Patricia.
so, I told these ladies earlier, I have finally gotten over whatever kind of infection I had very close to my brain, which was part of my tooth issues. We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
That's scary,
And so,
though.
it's scary.
Yeah.
And, you know, just as the endodontist said, it was the worst I could possibly have. So I didn't realize it, but it was not until probably last weekend that I finally started feeling like myself again. So I'm just happy to be out in the world in this really gorgeous weather. 60 degrees in February in Iowa is, it's the bomb. Except I didn't really pack all the right clothes for it, so I'm a little warm, and I cannot what?
Do
What,
they
Renee?
do they have stores in Iowa?
I actually did go and buy some clothes this weekend, but now it's not
Renee,
like I
they
can just
do, but they
go on.
only sell gunny sack. That's the only thing.
Don't laugh because Target went straight to gunny sack a couple
Oh my
of years ago.
God, shut
If you don't
up.
remember, yeah. So gunny sack, that's what
Oh.
everybody wore.
You
to
know, if you wore a
Right.
gunny sack dress, you were not going to get laid.
No.
It was an anti-sex dress. Up to here, oh yeah, right below your chin, all the way down here. Yeah, it's just
I know, pretty crazy, huh? Well, anyway, so it's been good. My class is almost halfway done. Tomorrow we're at the halfway point.
Wow.
I know in terms of lectures, we finish a week from 2 weeks from today. So Cornell College, people who don't know, look it up in the middle of Iowa, they have the block plan. So you're taking one class at a time. You start on a Monday, 3.5 weeks later, you finish, you're only in that class, and then you have a little bit of break and you move on to the next one.
I love that.
So it's a great way to study.
Yeah.
It really is. And people just don't understand. I heard that next year they have an Emmy-winning writer who's going to come on campus for a block and teach a class on screenplays or writing for
Awesome.
movies, whatever. I don't know for sure. I've heard the rumor that he writes with like Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson. And so, I mean, they've gotten somebody really big, which is exciting. But this is so nice because you can bring somebody in for a month.
Right.
Bring them in. That's what I'm doing. Coming in for a month and then I leave. They did sign me up for next year. They really want me to come back because they like me. They really like me.
All the rich and famous and smarty pantsers get to teach a class in Iowa.
So anyway, it's fun. The class is great. I had their midterm today and yeah, we're rocking and rolling. And of course, I get to see my daughter every day. Yes. And by the way, I've asked some other friends who have daughters, do you talk to your daughter every day? And they all said yes.
Yeah. Do all their
Yeah.
daughters have tears in their eyes?
No.
Are all those daughters having to keep journals about their overbearing mothers?
Well, I recently found out that my daughter is a journaler. I did
Oh.
not know that. I know. So someday maybe I'll read them and I'll find out all the bad things I did.
But
Only
your
I can.
daughter also doesn't like you asking lots of questions about stuff.
No, she does not.
She shuts down, doesn't she?
She does. She got a little upset with me. I think here's my take on it. It's not the matter that she gets upset because I'm asking her questions. I think that sometimes she needs to decompress. And if she doesn't get to do that, she knows that she can melt down around me. Because I asked her, do you do this with your friends? She said, no, I don't.
And what I
said,
told Patty, her friends don't turn conversations into the Spanish Inquisition. They don't turn into Columbo and start asking all these questions about where are you
Patricia,
going, who are you going with, blah blah blah.
you're her safe space.
well, I am.
Where
I do
she
ask too
can
many
melt down.
questions, But I think also she knows that she can take this moment. And so she does it and she's safe and everything's okay. Actually, this segues into what I wanted to talk about because every now and then something happens and I'm like, why didn't somebody tell me about this? Like, surely others have gone through this. How have I reached this age and I didn't know about this? This is happening in my 30s, my 40s, my 50s. The idea of what are those things you wish somebody had passed along to you? What are those things you should be passing along to your children? And it's funny because I thought, oh, this would be great because there's some funny ones. There's some kind of sentimental ones. There's the practical ones. We all know about compound interest. I literally had my 30-year-old niece who was talking to my mom and me recently about retirement savings and interest and investing. And she said, I didn't know anything about that.
Oh.
She's 30 years old. And she's just found out. So we all know about compounding interest. I think that's something that works. But again, that comes up a lot.
Yeah, but I also feel like we graduated in the last section where they taught all that. How to balance a checkbook, compound interest, all those things. And then kids today, that 30-year-old range, they're starting to do it again because a whole generation is like,
That's
not
really
have
true.
a clue.
Maggie had that in high school. So she did have a class where she got to do all of that. But you're right. There's kind of that little bit of that area where we stopped talking about it and now we're talking about it again.
Well,
And,
my children cannot read cursive.
they can't read cursive?
Well, no, because they were
Right.
taught cursive
Right.
in school. And so, I have decent handwriting, I write everything out. And they're always like, can you read this for me, Mom? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, it's a
That is
thing.
definitely a
So
thing.
I was thinking about that today. Interesting you said that because my midterm was a paper and pen test. They had to write out their responses on sheets of paper and it was like short essays. And one of them was done and I realized every single word is printed. There's no cursive, not printed, lowercase. Like what is it? Not cursive. Then every single one is just
Printed.
your basic letters printed. So it was pretty fascinating because I thought, I wonder if the student knows cursive, but I never thought about the reading part of it.
Yeah.
You got to be able to read it.
I'm very
like-
conscientious of that when I write birthday cards out to people of a certain age. I do not.
But you're so smart.
I am so smart. Okay, this ties to last week's episode of Renee's Quirks.
About spoons?
It wasn't Renee's Quirks, but
Is it
ended
about
up.
spoons?
It is not
Okay.
about spoons, but I love to balance my checkbook. Like on the 15th, when that statement comes out, I am
Wow.
printing it out.
I haven't balanced my checkbook in
I
years.
don't even look at the statement.
It's really bad.
Oh, I'm a balancer.
I used to. When they came in the mail and we had the little sheets, I would do all of that. Yeah. Good for you.
for me. Good
Yeah.
for me. No, but
Again.
getting back to Patty, there are so many things in life where I'm like, I know I am not the first person in the world this is happening to. Why do I feel like I am
Why has nobody
inventing the
told me
wheel
this?
here? Like,
Tell
this
me
is
one.
crazy.
What's one?
All right. I don't think this is earth shattering, but things that I was not told. Meals. That meals happen every day. And when you're a mom and even married, no, we're both retired, no more
Uh-huh.
full-time jobs. So there's a little more even, but still every fucking
You
day.
can say it because that's how we all feel.
And it's
Every
not just
day.
it's not just cooking the meal. I'm fine with cooking. Well, but it's the deciding, figuring it out, buying the stuff, prepping the stuff, making the stuff, cleaning up after the stuff every single day. And then, as you know, with kids and different schedules and different work events, you finally make it happen and somebody goes, we're having that? Or what is
Oh.
that? Or can we an hour early today? It's like, no, I hate doing this too. Why? No, this is a
My
non-negotiable.
mom she was always like, I'm not a short order cook. You're
Yeah.
going to eat what the hell I make. And if you don't like it, then you don't eat.
I'm
And
That's right.
shocked how many parents today are short order
Cook
cooks. I mean,
multiple meals.
Nope.
yeah,
Multiple
no,
meals.
there is.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, it's not like you have to eat it. But we are having mealtime, and if you want something else afterwards, have at it. But I'm off the
I
clock.
will say we all are really good cooks. I've had your food. I don't know if you've had mine, but I guarantee I'm a good cook. But so we've all been good cooks, but I'm not sure really, and I'm going off of my experience with my daughter, that she really, I mean, she lived on her own and she and her roommate cooked. But to do that every day for children,
Yeah, but you
for
didn't do
a
it at
spouse,
that age.
for-
You didn't do it at that age, did you?
at Maggie's age, no, but I did cook when I was a teenager because my mother did a menu every 2 weeks.
Oh,
So
wow.
put it on the
I
refrigerator.
remember growing up seeing that.
Mm-mm.
Went out and got all the groceries she needed for it. So if I came home from high school and it said we were having, I'd get out the cookbook and I would do the cooking. So I cooked quite a bit in high school, but no, when I was like Maggie's age out of school and, I cooked for myself, but it wasn't like every single day. Obviously my food habits weren't great, but
It's so
yeah.
much easier today, though. Like when I think about my mom would make chicken, like she'd get a whole chicken,
And
put
cut
it
it
in a
up.
bag. Yeah. And now you can just go to the,
Renee can't do that.
I know, can't do that. But now you
She
can just
can't
go
touch it.
buy a fully cooked chicken.
Right.
Like it's
Yep.
just
Yeah.
things are easier and there's DoorDash
Mhm.
and there's all that kind of stuff. But no, I think my mom told me one day, and I don't remember the number, how many turkeys she cooked over her lifetime. What do you think?
Huh?
A lot, right?
If you're
And-
cooking, we had turkey at Thanksgiving and Christmas. After a while, you're like 2 a year, you're at 40. It's like, why have I cooked 40 turkeys? Pretty interesting. All right, here's one I have that I thought was kind of funny because I learned this a little bit later in life. My boss said this to me and I was like, what? I learned later in life that the average IQ is 100. Do you all know that?
No.
I looked it up because I was like, that can't be. Because 100 seems really low to me. Right? Doesn't it seem a little low?
Okay,
Did you all get tested when you were in school?
I don't know if I did. I don't remember.
Did.
It forces your view into how you're dealing with people. Because one of the things that I've always kind of have as my little mantra is differences is what makes the world a really great place. If I hung around with people just like me all the time, and I think I'm terrific, I would probably be really bored after a while or really mad at everybody and sick of them, right?
Right.
So,
Well-
so
But there's IQ, but
Yeah.
there's EQ, which is
exactly.
equally as important. And there's so many very smart people that happen to end up being leaders that have
Yes.
no EQ. And I think
Uh-huh.
you gotta balance that. So I was never one to recite my SAT scores because quite frankly, I was so hungover because
You
we
took
had
the SAT or the ACT?
I took both.
You took
But-
the SAT. I did.
But the
okay.
SAT, so it was around my birthday in high school, and we had a party, and then
Sure
we
we
had to
did.
take the SAT
Yes.
the next day, and I was so hungover. I'm like, whatever.
But the thing about it is so there's something out there called confirmation bias. What confirmation bias is? Something happens or you think something's supposed to happen. If it happens that way, you think it's going to be that way all the time. This is why people today are given clear facts, clear information that refute their beliefs, and yet they won't give up on their beliefs, right?
Right.
Which we all know. We know the political landscape. We know what's happening out there no matter what. And so when you know that some people don't really have the intellectual capability and they haven't had the opportunities, because I think you can increase your IQ and you can increase your EQ. That, if they
absolutely.
don't take advantage of that, it helps you to understand a little bit better how to approach certain people. And, as you know, you can't argue with people who don't want to change their mind about anything.
Right.
You
Right,
can't.
and I one of my favorites is we never went to the moon. It was all done in a Hollywood studio. It's like, okay, whatever.
So
So
disturbing.
it is disturbing. And I
Flat earthers. You need
But
to look and do a deep dive into flat earthers.
right. So
Yeah.
I do believe a lot of it has to be, nature versus nurture. Both of those elements are because we're a sum total of our experiences, right? And so, if you are brought up in a certain environment, right, that practices like you never get modern medicine. Like if your child's sick, you
Right.
never, right, which is so scary. But it's such a deep rooted belief that, I don't know how do you untangle that and it's almost like, how do you deprogram someone?
Yeah.
Right? It's scary that there's so much misinformation floating around that then becomes, the talk of the town, and then more people start believing it. And, vaccines do not cause autism. I'm sorry, they don't. So, yeah.
When we grew up, I think we were very privileged for a number
Yes.
of reasons.
Absolutely.
Wisconsin is known or was known for a pretty good education.
Yeah.
And a lot of
It
states
was.
are not. We were
Yeah.
also raised pre-Reagan, where the news was not on cable and they had to adhere to,
Very
facts,
clear standards. Mhm.
very clear standards. Now you have news programs that have news in the title that aren't news. And yet people
Yeah.
watch them every day thinking they are getting news. When they are
News.
not getting news, they don't know the difference between fact and opinion. And
And it's frightening, though. It's frightening how younger generations and my children being part of that, how they get their news. And it is in snippets, it's in headlines. They never read the full article. My one son, Ben, is actually very politically minded. And so he will dive deep into things, which is great. The other one, I can't get to vote to save my life, and it drives me nutty.
that I could see where
But-
that would drive you crazy. 'cause you're
Yeah,
very
but
active.
like when you see them on their
Just vote.
phone, their attention span is so
Mhm.
small now that it scares the shit out of me.
The one thing I will say pro on that and give them credit is their news is very up to date.
Yeah.
It is
It
not
really is.
a newspaper
We
getting
don't have to
thrown
wait till
on your
6.
driveway
Right.
that is actually 2 days old, or wait till 6. But sometimes, that can lead to a whole different, where things are just, you don't have any
Yeah.
time to actually digest and
So I have to say, you've heard about Tellerico, who Stephen Colbert was not allowed to air his segment, but I watched it on YouTube. It was fabulous. Everybody go to YouTube and watch it, please. Did you hear him talking? He's in the Texas legislature about the cat litter box legislation that they were trying to pass in Texas. This was several years
I
ago.
do remember him
Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
it?
Okay,
really
so-
trying to nail that person down. Correct.
Yes. So what happened is that this legislature brought forth this legislation to basically say you could not have litter boxes for the children who identified as furries. That was actually what they were spending their time on. And Tallarico went to this person and who's trying to put the law out and said, where are the examples that this has happened in Texas? And of course, there were absolutely none. It was a rumor that something was happening. And instead of kind of going back and going, yeah, you're right, this actually hasn't happened, the guy doubled down with, well, we need to do this to make sure it never happens. So it was pretty funny.
It's all that
False information.
false information. However, one of the reasons somebody came up with it is because, do you remember when somebody threw up in school? Somebody
Yes.
Oh,
threw
the
up
stuff
on
that
their
has
desk.
a pour
They
on
put
it?
that stuff on it.
Yeah.
They put
Kitty litter.
kitty litter on it.
Is that what it was?
Absorb
Pretty
it
much.
right away.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Janitors have kitty litter and kitty litter like products in the school for those reasons. And somebody saw that and said, the kids are identifying it as furries and we can't have that. The next thing you know, the boys are going to use the girls' bathroom. And man. And then
So
James was like, let's stop into this. And he
Let's-
did not let that person go.
he did.
That's awesome.
And again, I want to just go back to the average IQ is 100.
So
All right.
I have something that I wish
Okay,
I was
what's
told.
yours?
So I wish someone would have told me never to buy a bathroom magnifying mirror.
And I wish I would have bought one sooner.
Oh my God, you can get lost in there. Like every time I'm getting ready for bed, Joel's like, "Are you coming to bed?" Well, no, because I got to look at every pore, and I got now.
so
I
true.
do have to say, it is good when you get older, ladies, if you're listening, because you're going to get rogue witchy chin hairs that just grow
Exactly.
like, and they have a mind of their own, and you don't know it's there. And meanwhile, you've been talking to people at a party, and you got this hair that's just like floating around. And then you look in the magnifying mirror going, holy fuck, that thing is huge. But the amount of time, I can never get the time back that I've spent studying every pore on my face.
Oh, my
And making
it does
things
take
worse.
time.
Like if you got like a pimple and then you just make it worse. I didn't even know it was there until I
I
looked in
have a
the
pimple
goddamn
story
mirror.
for you. I have a pimple
Oh no.
story for
Am
you.
I going to get grossed out? Because
Yes.
this is one of those things that makes me squeamish.
Okay.
Okay.
I had an itty bitty, and Eileen, I think I found it on one of those 3D, and now they're like
Oh yeah.
10D.
Don't do that.
Oh.
Horrifying. It was an itty bitty, teeny tiny little whitehead in the crevice of my nose. And it was during finals in college. And I remember sitting in the library, just rubbing and picking. The next day, because I probably pulled an all-nighter because I failed to study, I woke up, my nose, I had worn a hole in my face. So I had this itty bitty whitehead that I made into a quarter size, just raw. I rubbed all my skin. I woke up and my nose was stuck to my cheek. Okay.
I'm telling you, you can, yes, you can't not touch it.
I can't. I have
Yeah.
to go in a straitjacket.
Look,
Okay.
I'm a picker. If I see something on anyone, I'm gonna go up there and go, let me get that for you. Like I used to give my kids facials in high school. They hated it, but their skin looked great. But
Oh
no,
my gosh.
I also have another hair story.
Oh,
rogue hair.
good.
Okay.
So I was in the pool with my husband last summer, swimming around. I had my suit on and I was like up on top of a floaty, right? And all of a sudden he's like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, what? And he pulled like a 5-inch hair off my ass. Now, I don't know how that got there. I don't know how long it was there. How does that happen where you don't, right?
Was
So
it
you have a
like
5-inch
ass
hair
cheek?
growing, yes,
Or
on my ass
top,
cheek.
or top of your thigh in the
No,
back.
it's my ass cheek, like coming out of the middle of the cheek, and what?
That's
happening
true
to
love
me?
that he pointed that out
It's
for
true.
you.
And he
It
pulled it out,
is.
and he pulled it out for me.
Oh, that
But
is
I
love.
I told him when I can't see anymore, you are on chin duty. Like you have to check the chin because there's gonna be, and I'm sorry, ladies, to give this away because we all have it, but I do take a razor and I will shave my face. And it sounds weird, but it exfoliates your face really well.
It does. It does,
You know,
actually.
but yeah, it's actually, not bad.
And that
but
old tail of it grows back thicker.
doesn't.
And
It does
that's-
not.
it doesn't.
All right,
Some
I'm
old
going to
wife did
hijack
that.
your story a little bit because I have my own. Because as you can see, I am blonde. This is my natural hair color for the most
Oh,
part.
this is my
I know.
natural hair color too.
And this
so.
is
It
my
is too, I
natural
know,
hair
because she's
color.
blue. Anyway, all I'm saying
My
is
parents are Smurfs, so
they are. I am very white, and I am the hairiest white woman you have ever met. So when you say one or two, I remember years ago there was a movie with Farrah Fawcett, and her mother-in-law was in her bed. She had had a stroke, and she was taking care of her, and she had to pluck this one little hair every day. And I was like, oh no, I don't have one here. I go to an electrologist. So because I have to get many pulled out because of how eerie I am.
Fine.
But let me tell you, my electrologist said, and so little advice for any listeners out there. When you pluck a hair, it is a trauma to that pore and blood rushes there and feeds it. And that's why
It
when you
feeds
think
the
you're plucking
monster.
when you think you're plucking the same hair every day, it takes 6 to 12 weeks for a plucked hair to grow back. So you have several hairs in that area that are being fed and are now going. So which is why, Eileen, they told us to shave them off.
Yeah, I have a zit story. All right.
Oh,
So
good God.
I never had acne, really. But
I'm going to go. Good for
and
you.
You know, but I had cystic, like I'd get those deep undergrounders. Don't ever touch those. Do not touch them. So I was going to go in Laguna Beach to have a luncheon with Hillary Clinton and a bunch of other ladies, right?
Ooh.
Well, the day before, I wake up and I have this huge underground, and my nose is being pushed this way. Like I can see it when I look down. I can see this mountainous thing, and I was like, "Holy, oh my God!" And it was huge, and I just knew the next day it was going to be even worse. And so my eyes started to push up, like I look like the Elephant Man. And so I called my doctor, and he would shoot cortisone shots.
Interesting.
And what that does is it takes the redness and the swelling away. So I showed up, and he shot so much in there that he talked about it at doctor conventions, at dermatology conventions, of how much my zit ate up the cortisone. Like he put so much in there, but God love him, Dr. Beverly, it went away. And the next day I sat with Hillary on my right and Barbara Eden.
Oh my gosh.
On my left.
I am going back to the punch card idea for you, Eileen.
I'm going back to, I will never have you two ladies are the most important ladies I know. So there's that. Plus, if I called a dermatologist, I would get in 6 to 8 weeks.
Exactly.
I do not have a guy I can call or a lady.
I want to say on facial things, something I wish somebody would have told me is don't wax your eyebrows.
Oh.
Because you know what? I don't have any anymore. Like I only waxed them once and I thought, okay, I'll try it. Number one, it hurts like hell. But number two, somehow after that one first waxing, half of them didn't grow back.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I've
never had anything done to my eyebrows. I just pluck them myself, but yeah, I don't.
Well, I have to.
Do you color yours in?
No,
You're
these
kidding.
are
I
my.
have to...
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you're a unicorn. How about you, Renee?
I grew up with 2 older sisters, and
Plucked them to nothing.
I am Italian, so when you guys talk about hairy, I'm like, you know nothing.
Get in line.
I have men hair on my legs. No, I don't anymore because I don't have any hair anymore. But I had the unibrow situation, and my sisters literally sat on me and plucked my eyebrows. And yes, overplucked them. So every day I do now have to fill them in. They also double pierced my ears with a potato and then hung chimes on them.
That's so disgusting.
Yes.
I just can't even begin to tell you.
I don't have a cool double piercing. I have one on top of the other to hide.
No, that's not how
the
it's supposed
slit.
to be.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the moral of the story is to stay away from your older sisters because they're psychotic.
Yes.
But here's my skin.
Your older sisters are psychotic. Okay, what's
Yes,
yours?
they are. God love them. Sunscreen, especially neck and this little situation.
Yes. Yeah.
If
Every
our
day.
parents would have said,
Every
put
day.
zinc on your face and do not go in the sun.
Right.
Like
If
I look
either
at
of you, oh, go ahead, Eileen.
No, I was just gonna say my niece Emily never goes in the sun. And she's got the most angelic skin I've ever seen. And she's in her 30s. I'm like, God love you.
But we
I hate you
definitely
at the same time.
definitely grew up in the sunburn
The
age.
Baby oil.
In
period.
Wisconsin. Yeah. Like
The baby
who would
oil.
think, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Ah,
Laying out with baby oil.
but I have friends to this day that love to. I have a sister that loves to get tan, and I'm like,
I have been getting tan the last couple of years because there's a above ground pool at my mom's house. So I will go out there in the summers and exercise in the pool. I actually do a lot of exercising there. And I'm not as good about my body, but my face gets sunscreen every day. Every day. It's the moisturizer, the sunscreen, and I put it on the back of my hands.
Oh yeah, because that's the first
Because
giveaway
they're
that you're an
really,
old
yeah.
lady.
Look how old they look.
Yeah.
Oh,
pants
I need rings.
and neck to me
Yes.
are like giveaways.
Decolletage to the ladies, like
Right
nothing
here, yes.
worse than a creepy decolletage.
I
So,
didn't even know what that
sunscreen,
word
sunscreen.
was till I'm sure I was 55.
Well,
I thought it was
and
something.
we did- We
dirty.
did grow up in Green Bay.
but even like
Wisconsin,
when you're
so-
driving, you know,
Yes, arm out the
you
window.
just got to make sure you're putting the sunscreen on. So I
Eileen,
do wish our parents would have told us that.
Do you remember driving up from your place to Ojai to visit my sister in your
I do.
convertible and
I
how
do.
burned we got?
I
Yes,
do.
We got very burned. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
are you
But it
guys
was
bragging
fun.
again about Ojai in a convertible?
It was a
Eileen's
LeBaron.
convertible.
It was a red LeBaron convertible. It was a piece of shit car, and it ended up blowing up on Huntington Boulevard,
That's when you lived in
Huntington Beach.
Orange County. Yes.
Yeah.
So when you first, this is a little story. I'm not sure I ever told you this, and this is definitely not on topic, but it's good. When you lived in Scottsdale, I came to visit you.
Yep.
So this was your first job after your training. I come to visit you, and you were off doing work, I think, and I had to go to the bank for some reason. So I borrowed your car. So I drive your car to the bank, and I get out of the car, and I'm walking in, and your car is rolling backwards.
Is this the first she's hearing?
Never knew that.
It's like, holy shit. And I'm running to the car and I opened it and I got in there and thank God it was okay. But
Oh
I
my
thought,
God, that's
if
hysterical.
I break Eileen's car, but yes, it was just rolling backwards.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
It was
I
not
love
in
that
park.
story.
It was
Oh
not in
my
park.
God, that's
So,
hysterical.
sorry.
Didn't know.
Sorry,
No, it's
little
okay.
Eileen's
Like,
story.
yeah, no, it's totally fine now. But that
The
car was
things-
a piece of crap.
I do
Yeah.
leave
Yeah.
my car on a lot because nowadays half the time, like it's a key fob.
You
Yeah.
can't
Just
tell
walk
if it's
away.
on or not.
I can't
Yeah.
tell if it's on or off. I walk away and they'll come back and it's still rolling. I'm like, ooh, good
Oh,
thing.
I had
Eileen
that-
and
so
I
I-
went to this. Remember when we went to the mall and I left my car running the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
time?
Yeah.
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 We go into the mall. This is the Pacer, the blue Pacer. We go into the mall. We shop for a couple hours in high school. I come back and I'm like, I can't find the keys. And
Still in
I'm
the
looking
ignition.
around. And I'm like, and all of a sudden we're like, they must be in the car. And we're like half an hour standing there. I'm like, is the car next to us running? No, my car was on. My car.
Yeah.
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 Somebody had to come bring me the extra keys. Anyway.
Back
Love
to
it when we get off track
sunscreen.
on those good things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
sunscreen.
Ladies and
sunscreen.
gents wear
Even in the
sunscreen.
cars.
Yeah.
Here's
in the
something I
cars.
wish somebody would have told me. Parenthood is forever.
Oh, it is. So what are you doing next week, Renee?
I'm going to visit my son. And he'll probably, I don't know, he always has bullshit projects for me to do, which is great because I like doing that. And it's a good way for us to connect and chat. And, he's much more open if we're doing stuff. So it's all good. But, when people go, oh, I can't wait till this phase is done, you're like, oh, just wait till the next one. Oh,
So
just
you're
wait
gonna
till-
laugh. I have a note written for today's episode. Kids, the horrible reality. That's what I've done. And when I met, like, have kids, you love it. And I want grandkids to have kids. And you're all caught up in that time in your life when your biological clock is saying, have kids, and I don't want to die alone, and all that kind of stuff. So, yes, the good outweighs the bad.
Yes,
However,
yes, 100%. I love
kids-
my children.
yes,
I do.
Love
Yeah.
that.
no one will drive you battier than your own children.
Ding, ding.
And there's
ding.
a point where, like, you want to hide in a dark closet and lock it so you don't kill them. Like, they're Honestly, I love my kids, all 4 of them. But my God, and Patty, I was a single mom for 10 years. I know you were a
Yes, you
single
were.
mom.
Mhm.
You know, you can't make some of this shit up. My son weed in our plants in the front yard and then went and turned the sprinklers off. So every day we're like, why aren't the sprinklers working? Well, because he had his weed stashed in the rose bushes and he didn't want to get it wet. And I'm like,
You could
Does
think
he
of
hear
a different
baggies?
spot.
Ziploc
it was
baggies?
in a Ziploc bag, but he's like, nah, nah, nah. And he kept going out there and turning them off, and then we'd go turn them on, and then he'd turn them off, and we'd turn them on. And this went on for quite a while until we caught
I
him
love
on
this.
the camera out front. And that's another thing. They lie to you. So we had cameras everywhere around our house. It was SoCal, you know, whatever. And I would wake up and I'd sit there and wait for Andre to come downstairs. And I'm like, so, how did you sleep last night? He's like, oh, yeah, great, great, great. Anything unusual happen? Like, you know, no, no, no. Well, we would see him leave the house and then come back in with someone else, and then they would leave the house. Now we're asleep. We had no idea any of this shit was going on, but he knew we had cameras. And I would say, is that your final answer? Is that the story? And I said, you know, we have cameras. He's like, yep, no, I was in bed all night. And he would double
Teenagers
down.
are stupid. They're stupid.
No, Ben would be like, it was me. I did it. I'm sorry. Like he would cave right away. Right. Yeah. But I have to tell you a story about having boys. So
Okay.
Renee, you may align with this. I was working out of the house one day. I had a headset on. I was on a conference call and I'm like, I was going to bring a laundry basket upstairs from my bedroom. So I opened the doors of my bedroom and there is one of my sons laying on my bed watching Hannah Montana and going to town. And
On your bed?
when he saw me walk in, he dropped and rolled. He dropped and rolled. Like he
Hannah Montana, she's a
I know.
hussy.
Yeah. So he dropped and rolled, and I thought I had put the phone on mute. And I'm like, put your pants on and meet me downstairs. Well, I was still on the conference call. It was it was hard to explain. So he's sitting on the couch. I get downstairs and he's rocking back and forth. He's like, I'm a bad, dirty boy. I'm a bad, dirty boy. And I'm just like, there is no rule book for this stuff, right? And I'm trying not to
No.
laugh. I am just like, and I'm like, it's totally natural. It's okay. Could you just not do it in my bed? Like, I'd really appreciate that. This is a private thing, totally natural. So that was his 1, 2, 3 go, because I caught him in every room doing it all the time. Like, I left him in the car to go into the grocery store, and I swear the car was bouncing up and down because he was just going to town in the car. Boys are
God, I was
Boys are boys. Boys are
gonna share.
boys.
It's a little different story. I was gonna share how our oldest never slept. He never slept
Never slept?
as a baby.
Oh, you mean when he was baby?
He never slept. I literally would have meltdowns, like, because he
you go to
never
sleep.
slept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mommy and Daddy we did that. Mommy and Daddy love you very much, but it's time to go to bed.
Well,
and
we're
when
gonna
I was
smother
just
you
about
with
to
a
lose my
pillow.
shit, Dave would, my husband would we'd do a tag team. Okay, you got to take a break. And then soon but anyway, as an adult, he still does not sleep. And have you ever seen the book, Go to Fuck Asleep? It's a child.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't
Yes,
it.
I have.
That was definitely a gift for him. He has it displayed in his house.
Yeah.
To this
It's like
day.
good night
Awesome.
moon or go the fuck asleep. Yeah, one of the two.
So,
yeah.
so what I'm hearing here, because we're getting close to our end here, that we need to have a full-on, maybe several sessions on our children.
Yeah.
Because I have those too. I can't give too many specific ones. You know, I'm trying here to guess which child, Eileen, you'll have to tell us off camera. But I will say, Renee, that 10 weeks, my daughter slept 13 hours every night.
Again,
I put her
is
to bed at
this-
6
is-
and she got up at 7.
Is this
I
attached?
love to do that.
Is this attached to? This is my natural color hair, and
It
I
is.
didn't gain any
Total-
weight when I was
total-
pregnant.
All right. I want us to wrap her up here. When I was thinking about today, I went online. I did a little, what are some of those things you wish you had known? And the first thing that came up, I'll just leave you with this one.
Goodness.
Things you should know. Very important. Don't leave the restroom smelling your fingers, even if the soap smells like candied bacon.
Thank you for that tip. Candied bacon.
I was like, that is the funniest thing. Somebody's like, things I wish I would know. Don't leave the restroom smelling your fingers, even if the soap smells really good.
Thank
Makes you
you.
want to go,
Yeah.
big old sniffs in. Yeah. You're at a restaurant, you walk out smelling your fingers. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So that's your thought for the rest of the week.
Thank you for
And the
leaving me.
other thing too, though, I'll give some motherly advice. So
Okay,
this is just
Good
my
old
mother gave me
motherly
this
advice.
Yes, my mother gave me this advice. Only floss the ones you want to keep.
Oh,
And so I have been a religious flosser
I floss every
Since-
day.
every day.
Every day.
And
Since
every day.
probably my
And
20s.
My cleanings take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so please floss your teeth because it will save you a lot in the long run on dentist bills.
aren't
Oh,
we?
wow.
Very true.
Aren't we helpful? I feel like I need a helpful
Yes.
tip. Don't
We're
smell
helpful.
your fingers and floss your teeth. I'm having a panic attack. I don't have anything helpful to share.
How about wear clean underwear? That
Wear
was
clean
one that
underwear.
was always
No,
a
it's
given.
got to match your bra though. So then we're in that
Yeah.
whole other topic
Oh
again
my
that we
gosh.
were in the last
And
one,
then,
so I
and then if
can't.
they bring the spoons out, there we go. Okay, we
Yeah.
got to end this. Obviously.
We got to end this.
Hey,
But no,
ladies,
there's
it's
yeah.
been fabulous.
So
fabulous.
for the listeners, give us some ideas of tips and topics that you wish you would have known. That you didn't.
Please.
Yes.
For our listeners, we always want to hear what you want us to talk about. We can talk about anything on here. We're mostly an open book, but
Oh,
we'd love to hear what
I
you want us
am.
to talk about. Yeah, Eileen's much more open.
Life is too short to have any secrets because they're hysterical, right?
Yeah.
Although I
Yeah.
told my kids growing up, here's some advice. Don't do anything that you wouldn't put on a billboard on the side of the street because
Yes. And on that, thank God there was no TikTok or cameras on phones or portable phones when we were growing up.
could you imagine?
All right.
All right,
Have a
love
good week.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye, friends. That's a wrap on today's episode of Brains, Brawn, and Bougie. Thanks for listening, friends.
Be sure to follow our podcast so you're the first to know when a new episode drops. And please don't forget to share with your friends.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas, so drop us a note at info@brainsbrawnandbougie.com. Until next time, don't forget to bring the brains, bring the brawn, and always bring the bougie.
Brains, brawn, and bougie, yeah, we bring the whole thing. Smart talk, strong moves, living life like a queen. Tune in, level up, every week we go deep. Brains, brawn, and bougie, this is where you find your peak.